Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about Neptune in the 8th house in the natal chart. Now, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the Neptune placements in the houses. They were a little bit concise, and some people may have referred to them as snappy. So what I decided to do is make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up, well, Neptune in the 8th house is comparable to Neptune and Scorpio, but naturally you've got a blend of your zodiac sign. Neptune and Scorpio in the 8th house can be different than Neptune and Taurus in the 8th house, as an example. Now, Neptune in astrology is connected with dreams and fantasies. So, dreams and fantasies, displacement may include, could just simply be making a major change or transformation at some point. It may be tied in with an intimate connection, maybe doing something 8th house related, such as working as a psychologist or surgeon, doing something with the occult, which includes astrology. Could be working as a coroner, working in embalming, locksmithing, as some examples. And the thing about this is the dreams and fantasies, may be such where you have a lot of passion and desire and emotional intensity in terms of attaining them. Now, another thing about Neptune in astrology, it's also associated with inspiration, what may inspire us. So if you have Neptune in the 8th house in your natal chart, well, you may be more inspired than most to make that major change or transformation. It may be matters of support, whether it's giving, moral, emotional, or monetary support. In terms of reviving something, the 8th house is connected with rebirth and regeneration, so it may be such where you feel more inspired to revive something such as a business. It could be empowering others and dealing with crisis situations, and also too, it could be about just going beyond subterfuge and superficiality, going beyond the surface, looking deep into things. The 8th house is connected with deep research, so you may be more inspired than most in those matters. Just gaining power and control, whether it's a business or whatever it might be in your life in general. Also, and even sexual related matters, there may be more inspiration in those than most others. Now, Neptune is also connected with hidden adversaries or hidden enemies. It could be those that are posing as friends, as an example, but are really enemies, are really working to your detriment. Hidden adversaries, if you have Neptune in the 8th house in your natal chart, hidden adversaries can be people that you're in intimate connections with, sexual partners. It might be someone that's you're in a shared resources situation with, such as a business connection, partnership. These people may also be more be vengeful, manipulative, jealous. It could be somebody that's in an 8th house field, whether it be the occult, which includes astrology, or maybe working in psychology or investigation, forensics. They may be those that are very obsessive and fixated, as well, maybe even compulsive, and in some cases. Now, it could be too that hidden enemies may be such where they may be those that you may again they may be people that are very much about power and control, as well. And another thing about Neptune in astrology, it's also connected with being ideal, what we're idealistic about, our ideals. And if you have Neptune in the 8th house in your natal chart, you may be more idealistic than most regarding making a major change or transformation. It could be empowering somebody in their life, reviving or resurrecting something. Again, the 8th house is connected with rebirth and regeneration, and it could be in terms of your intimate connections as well. But keep in mind that Neptune is also about what's unrealistic, so don't guard against being overly unrealistic in intimate relationships. Make sure that you're seeing the fine print, because wherever Neptune, whatever house Neptune is placed in our natal chart, it's where we often, overlook, the details in the fine print. Now, another thing, you may also be idealistic just simply in matters in gaining power and control, whether it's in your own life or what have you. It could be matters with criminal profiling or dealing with crime or corruption, say, in your area. If you're trying to apply for a loan or getting support, you may feel, as far as being idealistic about what you can actually attain in those matters. So now Neptune in astrology is also associated with dissolving, dissipation. So keep in mind, the 8th house does correspond with the zodiac sign Scorpio. So there may be some, dissolving, dissipation, weakness in connection with those, those body parts that are anatomically connected with Scorpio in the 8th house, such as the colon, the prostate, the bladder, the urinary tract, or even the reproductive system. It could be also where, you might have some dissolving of power and control at some point, or maybe an intimate, connection that you have. And, this could happen, regardless, of astrological placements, but it might be more prominent or more frequent, in this placement as opposed to many others. And also, too, the thing about Neptune, this placement as well, also matters of support. There might be some kind of dissolving or dissipation of that if you have received, some kind of support, from another person, at some point, this is a greater chance of, it weakening at some point more so than most other people. Neptune in astrology is also connected with deception and duplicity. So if you have Neptune posited in the 8th house in your natal chart, well, there may be certain deception and duplicity. It may be in your intimate connections and sexual related matters. It could be in you may have to deal with more deception, even in shared resources situations, more so than others, even matters of support, whether it's somebody, just simply, telling you that they don't, they don't have such and such to spare to help you when they actually do, or they're not looking for anything in return, in some support situation, but yet they do, at some point want something, things of just could be things of that nature, and even in matters, pertaining to surgery, as well. And and the thing is too, could be matters, with insurance as well that you might have to deal with. It can be also too, deception in terms of it could be something with inheritance or will. Somebody telling you, for example, that nothing was left for you when reality it was. And also too, having this placement, Neptune in the 8th house could also indicate some kind of spiritual transformation at some point. Neptune is also associated with psychic receptivity. So if you have this placement, well, you might have some strong intuition in matters connected with your intimate connections. It could be crisis situations. It could be those that you're in a shared resources scenario with. Maybe in matters of support in terms of whether you're going to get help or not, or it could be just a loan being approved. It could be something with credit card situation, like say if you've lost it, as an example, being able to find it. And just in matters just general, it could be inheritances or wills or just power and control issues in general. So or even matters with death. Sadly, you may have some kind of intuitive quality, in those matters. Neptune in astrology also is associated with what's nebulous, unclear, or obscure. So if you have this placement, well, it could be a matter pertaining to a death or some inheritance or will, or even a loan, that you may have applied for, as an example. It may be connected with someone you're in an intimate relationship with, a sexual partner, or even, somebody you're in, shared resources situation with, such as a business partner. Also, too, the thing about, this as well, this placement can indicate, people that you're in intimate relationships with that are they could be compassionate, forgiving, altruistic, sacrificing, but at the same time may be overly, unrealistic or deceptive and duplicitous. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.